Oh, thank you. Hopefully, I put the titles right. Anyway, I want to talk about the current situation going on over there in the Middle East. I'm 62 years old. I served my country for 10 years. Um, I've always been a big supporter of the President of the United States, regardless who it is. It doesn't matter. It was Obama, Biden, Trump, Bush, Reagan, whoever. Um, I support my president. Um, but on everything that's going on today with so much push on socialism, racism, genderism, all these crazy things that are going on the world or on our planet today. Um, I am, for one, I'm 62. Like I said, I don't care. My days are numbered. They're not my decisions anymore. They're the decisions of the younger generation. And I feel bad for um, the way things seem to be going. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, so much has happened. I was a 1980s, person where all the shit was invented when it comes to everything that you see today, and with AI and social media and cell phones and all these things that are happening, this younger generation is more privy to anything that we grew up with. Because when we were young, we had one clicker in the house to one TV. We had one phone with a 30-foot cord on it. You loved being outside more than you did inside because we didn't have video games. We didn't have any of that. And then the 1980s came along, and that's where the younger generation blames us, where we fucked up. We became more easy on our children. We don't discipline children like we used to. We grew up with corporal punishment in schools where you fucked up and you got paddled. And I'm going to be honest with you, and ask anybody I went to school with, you'd rather get paddled than them calling your parents. That's just my parents, I'm saying, because the worst thing you could do to me was put me on restriction and lock me in the house for 2 weeks because you didn't have shit. You stared at a wall, right? Um, so, with that said, with everything that's going on today, with all these different groups that are out there, and when I voted for Obama, I thought it would be a dramatic shift in racial issues in the United States. I don't give a fuck about the rest of the world, but in the end, it didn't. It didn't change anything, and it just things just seem to be with social media, with all the immigration and everything. That racism seems to be the number one um, draw to social media because everyone wants to see a black guy beat up a white guy and everything. You watch movies and shit, they continue to play the Holocaust, they continue to play Roots, they continue to play how all these successful black people helped us do everything under the sun and how white people has always held them down. And that's still going on today. You can still turn on your TV and you're going to find a video where a white lady calls somebody by the N word, or you're going to, see all these different things to make, you know, especially blacks beating up whites. They love that shit. Or blacks being with white women. That shit's all over the internet. I mean, it is what it is because they know that it stinks. And they do also know that most of it is not true. It's just portrayed because the only thing that sells in this country is drama and hate. And that keeps all of us divided all the time. So, and I grew up, I lived in just outside of Washington, D.C. My father was born and raised in Washington, D.C. My mother was Providence, Rhode Island. My brother was Virginia. I was born in Baltimore, Maryland. My two younger brothers, sister, brother, Providence. We were all from the Northeast. And we lived in underprivileged neighborhoods, sort of say, a mixture of all kind of different people. We grew up on free lunches. We grew up when you got one pair of shoes, a pair of jeans, and a new T-shirt for school, and you got free lunches when you went to school. We were just poor. There was no white privilege. There was no silver spoon. If there was, I could tell you our family never saw it. So somebody else must have got it. But I just sit and I look at everything today, and I don't believe 95% of the shit I watch on here, this video that I'm doing on YouTube or TikTok or any of that shit. I think it's all fed to make people hate, and that's not what this thing is all about. What I'm trying to say is that people need to understand that a lot has gone on in this country over the years, and nobody owes anybody anything. And every time I hear things, about how the white man is blamed for everything under the sun, and it's our fault, and they're bringing back shit from 400 or 500 years ago, and what happened. Like I said, they play it on TV all the time. They just want to keep the hate alive. That's what they live for. And we're coming to find out over years that the Black Lives Matter movement was a ripoff. These LGBTQ things are bought and sold by rich people from other countries just to keep this country torn apart. All that shit. But people needed to be able to decipher between the bullshit and the realism by walking outside your front door, getting in your car, go out there and experience life. And I personally have not seen or had one person say to me, "Don't call me Mr., don't call me Mrs. I'm prefer to me as who." So not once. Not once since all this shit started. Yeah, have I seen protests on the streets? Yeah. But they're pretty much everything, And like I said, I believe a lot of those people are paid because I got better things to do on a beautiful Saturday morning than sit out, hold up signs, calling our president a fascist, a socialist, a Nazi, this and that. Which in my day, growing up, that was unheard of. I just don't believe that is respectful. It's not the person, it's the position that you're respecting. And when people are born and raised here and they're calling their own president all these names, you don't have any facts. None of us do. Okay, they throw out all this shit out, all these smoke screens like the Epstein files, which, by the way, is a huge hoax. It'll never be proven. And you can dream all day, and every time some shit happens, they're going to throw the Epstein files up there just to keep you preoccupied. Now, many people are going to disagree with me, think that they're not bullshit. They're bullshit. No one man has all that power they're saying he has. And if they did, number one, Biden would have released that shit in a heartbeat if Trump had anything to do with it. And when Trump got in office, he would have done everything in his power to show Biden had anything to do with it or anybody else. Right? So people say, well, they all have something to do with it. You know what? He's dead. It's over. You're never going to know who killed Kennedy. You're never going to know that. Don't give a shit what they feed you in the media or in movies. You're never going to know the truth. That's the way it is. That's the power these people have. Okay? And when the human race of the United States realizes that you, the hardworking taxpayer, that busts your ass every day to live week by week, and you're wondering, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Yet you got these politicians in all these states opening up fake daycares and fake adult treatment centers and this and that, getting billions and billions and billions of dollars. Here's my question. Not one person, not one, has been indicted or sent to jail for all this corruption, so-called, they're talking about on the media every single day. They're talking about deporting that chick from Minnesota. They're talking about the shit going on in California. The DMV is giving out fake light. Nobody's going to jail other than the average Joe. Not one politician or anyone with money has gone to jail for any of these things you watch in the media. Okay. So with that, I want to get with the thing with Mr. Trump and everything going on in Iran. And me and my girlfriend argue about this. And like I said, I served 10 years in the military. I have nothing but respect for my president and our government, and I'll die for this country. However, we're in a situation in which we have placed ourselves in over the last 50, 60 years, ever since Israel became its own country. And what has ever benefited the United States by screwing around with the politics of the Middle East? Nothing but hatred. They don't want us there. We've never been welcome there. And the last thing they want to hear is how our opinion should affect them. So I put out a post a few weeks ago and said, it should be left up to Pakistan, India, and Israel. Why? Why would I say that? Because those three nations have nuclear weapons and they live in that area. Okay. Iran has dedicated themselves for the last, 47 years to death to America. Okay. They don't like us, but racists seem to stick to their own when it comes in the time of need. So my opinion to the President of the United States is we need to get out of that situation. We need to back away and say we have an option. Pakistan, Israel, India, you guys deal with this shit. We have enough oil reserves, and we can partner with Canada and Mexico. We can get enough oil reserves to take care of the United States tenfold over Saudi Arabia and the rest of them. But we should not go in there and try to dictate how a population lives or has lived for thousands of years. We're about 250 years old. How old are we now? I can't remember. And the biggest thing that we got pissed off is the British trying to tell us how to live. Nobody else got involved. Maybe the French a little bit, a few Russians, whatever. But in the long haul, it was Americans that fought for this country, for where we are today. So I don't understand why we have to get involved in a situation, and albeit it was Israel and what is that other one? Palestine, and it's just flared up from there. And then the Russians and Ukraine. I mean, now we got to deal with all white people over there. So we're like, oh, Jesus Christ, which way do we go here? And the Russians are strong enough to, defend their own, just like Ukraine is strong enough to defend their own, as long as we help them out. And both Biden helped them and Trump's helped them. So it's all about reserves. It's all about oil and resources. Everything that everyone's fighting about all over the place is about oil reserves and resources. Has nothing to do with nuclear weapons or anything like that. Everything, even back when we went into Iraq and all that stuff, it was always about the oil. Everybody knew that. People got rich off of it. But I have to disagree with my president on this one. I think personally we should get out. We should pull our oil resources, get Israel, Pakistan, and India to deal with all that shit over there. Get with the other countries, Iraq and the rest of them, and say, you guys need to figure this out and come up with something. But because Iran states death to America since 1947, I guess, they're probably not a need for them to own a nuclear bomb because they're so random. We just don't know who they'll use it on. And I can assure you, Israel will probably be the first one. And that'll start World War III. If World War III starts, it's going to start in the Middle East. And it's going to have nothing to do with the United States. It's going to be those people are tired of taking each other's shit, and we're just going to be the scapegoat. So if I was Donald Trump, I would back all my resources out of there. I would not place 1 foot on the ground, not 1 foot on the ground, and have a soldier die to tell his mom he died over there for what? Because there's really no reason. They got the Strait of Hormuz. So what? 20% of our supply comes from there. Fuck them. We have enough supplies. We don't need them. We got Venezuela. We can control their shit, give them to the countries that can deal with that type of oil that they pump. United States is self-sufficient. We take care of Mexico. We're good in the Gulf of America. We're good up in Alaska. We're good everywhere. We don't need them. So I don't understand why we would even stay in there. Say Israel, Pakistan, India, we're out. Nobody else wants to help us. England don't want to help us. France don't want to. Nobody wants to help us. And the president gets on TV every day talking about things didn't go well with it. That ought to send you a message. There's a reason why they're not helping you, because somehow it's going to come back and bite them. See, they're taking care of their own. And right now in the United States, we have immigration problems. We have gas problems. We have grocery price problems. We have property tax problems. We have homeowners insurance problems. We have enough shit in the United States to deal with and not have to worry about what's going on over there. And that's my heartburn with the president. I think we should get out of that area. We've never been welcome there. We never will be welcome there. Okay? We need to worry about home. We need to worry about the people back home. And that's all I got to say about that.